just going to be hanging out here with these two beautiful whales. Hi! And you guys, and explaining to you a little bit about our area, about our training, about the whales themselves. So again, take your time, get settled in, no rush. I'll be out here for about 15 minutes until we get started with our training portion of today's Dine. Before we get started with our fun whale facts, we're just going to talk about a few safety things for you guys to remember today. There's a very small Dine, which is great for you guys, very intimate, amazing, but we just want to make sure that you guys are kind of following a couple of rules while you're with us today. If y'all have been to SeaWorld before, you may have heard the 24-hour splash zone rule. So today during the Dine, we are of course not going to get you wet on purpose, so don't worry too much. Again, we will not be purposely getting you wet. We're not going to ask the whales to get you wet. However, one of our biggest whales is in this pool beside me. His name is Ulises. He's about 10,000 pounds. And joining him is one of our smaller females named Shouka. And she is around 5,000 pounds. So those are very, very big animals. And you guys are very close to their environment. So they do have the ability to send some water your way. For you guys that are all sitting over there, hi! For you guys that are sitting over there, you have a really cool spot. So that's awesome. The whales, they do slide up in this area here. This is called our slide out. So really cool opportunity. But just keep in mind if you guys have any belongings over there that you want to keep dry today, I would suggest just keeping them away from the glass and off the ground because sometimes the water can kind of come up and over. So just keep that in mind. And I'll do my best to show you this splash point. For you guys all over here, you also want to keep your stuff away from the glass here, like purses, bags, and stuff like that. They want to keep dry. Just keep them away from the glass and you can find your chair on the back of your chair, whatever works for you. And speaking of the acrylic glass, you also want to make sure that you are not dangling anything onto our side or the whale side of the glass today. You want to keep all of your belongings, toys, food, small children, hands, spouses, everything on your side of the glass. So you don't want to dangle anything onto our side. That's for our whale safety as well as for your item safety. If something does happen to fall onto our side of the glass, just let myself or another one of our staff members know and we'll do our best to retrieve it for you. And last but certainly not least, there shouldn't be too much connection today because we have such a small Dine. But just keep in mind that there are folks around you that are trying to get the same photos and videos that you guys are trying to get. So just try to stay seated as much as you can. Of course, feel free to get up and use the restroom or get some food, whatever you need to do by all means. Just keep in mind that there are other folks around you. So just stay seated as much as you can for our dive today. All right, thank you so much for listening to those safety reminders. Now we can talk about our beautiful killer whales. Now here at SeaWorld San Diego, we have 8 killer whales. Yes, 8. So you might be wondering why you only see 2. That's because you guys only have access, or visual access, I should say, to one of our 5 pools at the moment. So if you guys have been to Orca Encounter, which is our presentation, that would be another one of our pools. So again, 5 pools total, and they're all connected by an underwater gating system. So you guys can't see from where you're sitting, but all the way over there to the left, there's a big gray bridge, and underneath that bridge, there are some gates. So 2 gates that kind of lead into other pools. They're all underwater, and they're all operated by a gating system. So right now, we just have 2 whales. Shouka, who's our female, one of our females. We have 4 females total in our pod. And then Ulises is one of 4 males in the pod. So these 2 are in this pool beside you, and we'll be doing the Dine with killer whales for you guys today. But if you can think back to school, or some of my younger friends here, if you guys are in school right now, I'm sure you have different classrooms where you learn different things, different friends, you have different teachers. That's kind of what we do with our whales here. So if you can imagine that this pool is a classroom, and Ulises and Shouka are classmates, and then their trainers are going to come out, those are going to be their teachers, and they're going to be learning something new every day. So they can do training sessions where they might learn something completely new. Maybe they're touching up, reshaping some things that they already know. They also might have a husbandry session, which is kind of like when you guys go to the doctor. You see your doctor, they take you say, they take your blood, your temperature, stuff like that. We can do all of those things with our whales as well. So we might do a husbandry session. We also have exercise sessions, just like you and I go to the gym and get that physical exercise every day. So you'll get their exercise sessions. And then, of course, we have our presentations. So if y'all have been to our Orca Encounter, you may have seen a presentation or 2. So the whales are constantly doing something new and variable, different with each other, different whales, again, different trainers and whatnot. So we're trying to keep our days variable for them. We want to make sure that we're doing something different for them. Even in each session, we might try to do something variable. So that's kind of the fun part of the job. And it's fun for the whales too. And it helps them to learn, it helps them keep them mentally and physically stimulated, which is really important. So just like you and I need to be learning things, we need to go to the gym, get our exercise, these whales need all those things as well. And it's our job as their trainers to make sure that they're getting all those things. And another form of interaction that we can do with the whales is a playtime. Now this is one of the most fun ones because it's of course just playing with the whales. If you guys can see me walking on the inside of the glass here, can you see this purple donut? So this is a whale-sized toy. It's actually one of the smaller toys that we have. You guys see? It's very heavy. Again, one of the smaller ones, so it kind of looks like a little Fruit Loop, I think. But we can give this to the whales. This is one of their toys. There's here. There's another one right here. You guys can see this one is another toy. This is called a strap toys. These are fun. They kind of grab onto the hose. It's like a fire hose material connected to a blue ball. Hi, Shou. And if you guys have really good vision, you might be able to see Shouka right here in front of me. She has a piece of kelp in her mouth, which is very cute. Yeah, I see that. So the whales, we try to do different enrichment sessions with them. So we'll give them these toys, but they do see the toys every once in a while, so they might remember them. And we like to give them things that they haven't seen before. So for example, Shouka has a piece of kelp in her mouth because we gave them a giant bundle of kelp from the ocean, so something that they would interact with in the open ocean. We brought here to them, which is really cool. We've also done live fish in the pools with them, so yellowtail, you guys fishermen out there, we brought yellowtail to them and put them in the pool for them to kind of practice their hunting skills, which is super cool. These guys, being born and raised under human care, do not have the best hunting abilities, but it's very funny to watch them try to kind of corral the fish and whatnot. It's very, very cool to see their brains work. So if you guys can see, she's got it in her mouth, very cute. These guys are very, very smart. I'm sure you probably know that. Killer whales are very intelligent. Our whales are no different. So Orchid, for example, she is one of our females. She knows over 300 behaviors, and she can also combine those behaviors. So you might be able to see it today. Shouka can also do this. It's basically like speaking in a sentence. So instead of just asking one of the whales to do a big jump across the pool, we might ask them to wiggle their flippers, sing, and jump all at the same time. And they can actually do all three of those things at once because they're very smart. And again, it's kind of like talking in a sentence, which is really cool. And the way that we communicate with them is with our body language. It's almost like sign language. So, for example, if I want to ask Shouka to do that big old jump across the pool, it's sign language. So the sign is a big check, kind of like that across your body. So the check mark communicates to her the behavior. So just like if you wave to somebody, they see you wave and they wave back, right? So that's kind of the same thing, sign language. Or if you speak ASL, same thing, it's all signs. So if I ask her the big check mark, she goes and does it, great, I'm gonna blow my whistle. Very loud and high pitched, very easy for them to hear, and that whistle noise tells them that they did the behavior correctly. Now once they hear the whistle, they know to come back to their trainer, and they're going to receive some form of reinforcement, which is positive reinforcement training. So if you guys have ever had pets at home, have any of you guys ever trained your dogs or cats or even horses anything before? Maybe like a sit or a stay? Nobody's trained a pet? Okay, one person has. So if you're asking your pet to sit or stay, let's say you ask your dog to sit, they do that sit, what do you do? What do you do if they sit? I know you know this. Give them a treat, right? Yeah, good job you guys, you give them a treat. So that's positive reinforcement. You ask them a question, they answer the question correctly, and then they get some form of reinforcement. And I say ask them a question because we're not making them do anything, we're asking them. So I can ask her to do that jump across the pool, and she can choose to do the jump or not, and if she chooses not to, that's perfectly fine. Again, you're not forcing the animals to do anything, it's all positive reinforcement.
How are we doing over here?
So she's either going to do it and get that reinforcement, or maybe she chooses not to, or maybe she accidentally does something else. That also happens all the time, that's okay too. All that we do in this situation is nothing. Yeah. So that sounds kind of confusing, right? You do nothing. But for example, let's say we ask you that jump, and she does a backflip or something, maybe she gave or something like that. When she returns to me, instead of bridging her, giving her that whistle noise, I'm just going to do nothing. So I just give her about 3 to 5 seconds of nothingness. Just kind of stand with her there for a second. You'll see this in your session today. You might be able to pick it out. I can also point it out for you guys today too. But what that communicates to her is that was not necessarily correct, but that's okay, and you can just move on. So after that 3 to 5 second pause is up, we can ask for another behavior, or maybe we just move on to something else. Kind of depends on the whale and their trainer in the session and a whole bunch of different things, but that's the basis of our training here, all positive reinforcement. Now you might be wondering, okay, we know what we want to train. Let's say Shouka, she already knows that jumping behavior, right? So that's easy. She can do that. We can just ask her and she'll go do it. So what happens if there's a behavior that she doesn't know? If we want to train a new behavior, what do we do? So I'm going to go back to you guys with your pets at home. If anybody's ever trained a sit, for example, has anybody ever done that? Have you guys ever trained something? So if you train a sit, how did you get there? Do you remember?
You have to encourage them to do the sitting behavior.
Right,
you have to lead them to it.
Or just when they sit already, give a reward and then they repeat it.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. Right, so they were saying you can kind of wait for them to kind of shift their weight into their butt, right, and sit down into that sitting behavior. So that's kind of like molding them into that behavior, which is great, and then you give them the treat for that. So we have a tool that kind of helps us with that shaping. It's called the target pull. Let me try to find one. That's a really big one. Hold on. Okay, so this guy right here is a target pull. So target pulls help us with the shaping of the behavior. So with your dog, if you kind of push out on the butt, right, it's kind of easy. These are 10,000 pound apex predators.
No, you take it right out.
We have a target pull that can help us. So if you can train them to simply touch the bead on the end of the target pull, you can start to kind of manipulate different body movements. So for example, you want to do a flip. Ask them to touch the target pole and then do this under the water, right? A little bit easier with dolphins because they're very small in comparison to the whales, but it's the same basic idea. We're basically just shaping with the target pole, and then of course we have our whistle to help us with the communication part of it. And it looks like we're getting started. So once again, if you guys missed it, I will be shouting out if there's any splash warnings coming your way, so just keep that in mind. And I'll also do my best to shout out any photo opportunities. And once again, if you missed it, we have Shouka on the left. She's one of our smaller females. And then we have Ulises, one of our largest males, on the right. All right, and we're also going to be bringing in Kalia, which is very special for you guys. She's our matriarch, so she'll be joining us. Okay, first splash warning for you guys. Hold on tight. Here comes Ulises. Very, very large, very cool photo opportunity. Here he comes. 3, 2, 1.
One.
Oh, wow. Told ya. That is Ulises. He's very, very impressive, very large guy. Uli is the oldest male that we have here at 46 years old. Now typically killer whales, they only live into their 40s or 50s as males, where females live a little bit longer, 50s, 60s. Porky's our oldest whale in the pod, and actually the oldest male in the pod here at almost 60 years old. So Uli is getting up there as well, but he's obviously very athletic. You guys get to see that throughout our session today. And the way that you can tell them apart, other than his sheer size, right, is his candy cane shaped dorsal fin. Now you might be wondering, why do the male killer whale's dorsal fins sometimes fold over like that? His is shaped like a candy cane, like I mentioned. Now the reason for that is they do not have any bones or muscle inside of their dorsal fin at all. Again, no bone or muscle in that dorsal fin at all. So it's made out of a cartilage-like tissue. But first check out the opposite side of the pool. Here comes Kalia. She's got a piece of kelp in her mouth. That's so cool. So they don't have any bone or muscle, so over time, due to gravity, their fin might start to fold over because there's nothing holding up. It's made out of a cartilage tissue. So if you can imagine your ear being 6 feet tall and weighing 400 pounds, your ear might start to kind of droop down due to gravity. So that happens with our whales, and also whales out in the open ocean as well. So there's a few whales off the coast of South Africa at the moment that are named port and starboard because they have those really popular fins. Actually, on the opposite side of the pool, Sam is over there with a giant target pole. She's going to tap the water to tell Uli where to emit this behavior. Beautiful. Now that's a natural behavior for killer whales. It's how they stun their prey. So they can actually kick up like that to stun their fish or their seal or sea lion, porpoise, whatever it is that they're eating, to stun them and then catch them. Here comes Shouka. Here's Kalia over on the left. Now the best way to tell Kalia apart from the rest of the whales is she has 3 little freckles in her eye patch. So on her left side, inside the white eye patch, there's 3 little freckles, very, very cute, very easy to tell them apart. She's also our smallest whale, so about half the size of Ulises. But with that being said, even though she's the smallest, she's actually in charge of the entire pod. So killer pods are matriarchal, meaning that they have a female that leads the whole pod. And Kalia is our matriarch. Her mom before her, Shouka, was also the matriarch of the pod, so she kind of passed that down, which is so cool. And if you just got to see Ulises' pectoral flippers, you notice how large they are. Male killer whales are obviously a lot larger than females in general, but their pectoral flippers get really, really big, about the size of those 4 top tables that you all are sitting at. Now check him out all the way across the pool. Here he comes. Now that breaching behavior is another natural behavior of killer whales. It's how they communicate with each other. I'm sure you can hear how loud that sound was on the surface of the water. That can communicate to other whales in the pod, or they can do that to scratch and itch. So they don't have hands like we do. So they have to kind of be creative in how they get that fluffy skin off of their bodies. They shed that skin every 2 hours so that they can be nice and hydrodynamic in the water. So slapping their body parts on the surface of the water like that is a great way to relieve that itchy feeling. And this is Miss Kalia making her way around the perimeter of the pool. Now if you check out Shouka, she's in the center. She's headed out to the opposite side of the pool. She has a little gift in her mouth. It's a fish. And she's going to bring it to her trainer across the way. Sam, if you guys can see trainer Sam all the way at 12 o'clock over there. Let's see if she can get her the fish. Oh! There she is. Beautiful.
That's good. Try some mac and cheese.
Alright, so trainer Sam over there, once again, with the giant target pole, she's going to ask Shouka to come up right where she taps. So that tapping noise, or that tap makes a noise under the water, and it can communicate to them where to emit that behavior. So not only can we shape, like we talked about earlier, we can also ask for the location of the behavior as well. Now Shouka is a really cool whale. She's going to take off to the other side of the pool one more time. Check her out as she flies out of the water. You can see her little kind of C-shaped dorsal fin. That's the best way to tell her apart who she is. She is a really cool little whale. She's got a really silly personality. She's a lot of fun to work with, and she actually came from France. So she was at a facility over there in France years ago where she got to interact with some whales over there, and then she also lived in Northern California with bottlenose dolphins. And during her time with the dolphins, she learned, how to speak dolphin. And she actually taught some of her whales here.
She actually makes fun of
some of their vocalizations.
Learn how to talk like dolphins. Because the dolphin points right there. Every once in a while, you'll be walking by and just hear Shouka. It's like Shouka, stop teasing the dolphin.
Alright, Ulises is going to head over to the right side of the pool.
Yeah, his name's Crush. Like, he's over in this.
And he's going to show off how large
It's him and his best
tail
friend Belle.
flukes are. Here he comes. Massive tail flukes. So those tail flukes are what propel them through the water, and they can swim about 30 miles per hour. Which I feel like doesn't sound very fast, but it's not as fast as speedboats. So they're very quick. Alright, Shouka is going to hopefully go so close to people on the opposite side of the pool. Let's see if we can do it. Wow, holy moly! I think she got Sam more than anybody else. Sorry, Sam. If you just heard Kalia making those vocals over there, all those vocalizations come from the hole on top of their head called their blowhole. That's where they breathe from, of course. They're mammals, they have to breathe air. Check her out on the opposite side of the pool. So that blowhole, again, she breathes from there, but she also vocalizes from there. It's kind of like a whistle. We use our lips to whistle. They use their blowhole to communicate. So it's just a big muscle that opens and contracts. And they can make hundreds of different types of vocalizations, and that's how they communicate with each other. Alright, super cool opportunity for you guys to see slight splash warning, not as bad as Ulises because she's a little smaller, but here she comes. Beautiful. Now that coloration that these guys have is very beautiful, but it does serve a purpose as well. It's called counter shading. If you look at Kalia out there, you can see her white belly. She's doing some spy hopping. Spy hopping is a way for them to get a better visual of their environment, so they can see above and below the water, which is really cool. They have really great vision. But that counter shading that they have is on purpose. So if they were to be hunting a seal or a sea lion, let's say, out in the open ocean, that seal is going to have a very hard time if they're swimming above them, looking down on their black back. It's going to blend in with their ocean bottom, whereas their belly is going to blend in with the surface of the water where the light shines through. Also, if they're swimming in a pod, kind of swimming together straight forward, it's going to be hard to make them out. They kind of all blend together with their coloration. So you can see Yuli's belly out there in the center of the pool.
What do you want?
Alright, Trainer Sam over on the right with Shouka. She's going to ask one of my favorite behaviors. It's called froggy slides. So check out Shouka right here. So she should kind of pop up. Maybe. Here she comes. And now she should slide all the way over here. There she goes. How cute is that? And now Trainer Hannah is going to ask her to come on over here.
Yeah, she slides on the other side.
No, like she was in a really good position.
I'd be glad you guys were here Sunday for our second run. The whales were being kind of bratty that day, and I walked by one table and they were just so bad for it. It was over in the family section, but still. And every once in a while, like when like no one's here, when it's just us servers, if we're like taking a break on one of those tables, one of the whales will come over and be like, "Hi," and then we're soaked.
Check out the opposite side of the pool again. There goes Shouka out to that tap. Alright, so Hannah just asked something called a high zipper. Shouka did it perfectly. Of course she did because she's perfect. We're going to ask her to go back over there again and do the same behavior except ventrally, meaning upside down. So check out the opposite side of the pool again. We'll see if she can do that same behavior ventral.
Right there?
Yeah, she did it! So because she did that behavior, she gets a whistle or a bridge as we call it, because it bridges the gap in time between the behavior and the reinforcement. So she hears the whistle, she goes back to her trainer, and she gets some sort of reinforcement, in this case ice cubes, which she loves. A lot of the whales have their favorite secondary reinforcers, as we call them. So their primary is their food, of course. So we're going to utilize their food a lot. They get 100 to 200 pounds of food every day. But we can also utilize secondaries, which is the toys I was talking about earlier, or ice cubes, balls, tactile reinforcement. Just like your dogs and cats, they might like a scratch behind the ear. Our whales also love tactile too.
Okay, well, bye-bye.
And you'll also notice that our trainers are kind of moving around the pool a lot. Other trainers are present to accept the animals in different locations of the pool. These are on purpose. Wow, I cannot speak to
You're a
them.
mess.
So again, variability is very, very important for the whales. So it keeps it different. What if we're doing the same thing every day with these guys? And there's Yuli going around the perimeter squirting some water, it looks like. Check out those big pectoral flippers. Now the whales, they do have teeth that we've been able to look in their mouths at all today. You'll notice, especially Yuli has beautiful sharp teeth, so does Kalia. But they only get one set of teeth their entire life. So they're born with their teeth, and then if they wear down, which they do, if they wear down over time, that's normal. As they age, they start to wear down. They don't use their teeth chewing, they swallow everything whole. So you'll notice when they eat their fish, like Yuli right here, just swallows the fish whole. They use their teeth for gripping, tearing, interacting with their environment, and interacting with each other because they can't use their hands. So they use their mouths for pretty much everything. There's Shou again. Oh! Almost soaked those people over there. Alright, check out Ulises all the way across the pool. Very impressive behavior. Beautiful belly breach. And unfortunately, we are coming to the tail end of our session today. So to say goodbye to all of you killer whale style, we have Kalia. She's going to pop up on the far right first. Here she comes. And now direct your attention to the very center of the pool. In 3, 2, 1. Wow, that was very great. Thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out with us today. If you did not get enough killer whale time, we can always go down to underwater viewing down below where you guys came in today for the Dine and see the whales under the water, or you can come to our Orca encounter at 4 p.m. today. We have one more at 4 in our main stadium just around the corner. Again, thank you so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day here at SeaWorld. Bye, everybody.